of Nigeria to its knees. I mean, these are the comparisons that we need to make. I mean, it wasn't the elders and the politicians and the governors that got up and contacted the people in the creeks. It was people like me, people like Kingsley Kuku, Timi Alaibe, and so many other people in the background that worked towards this amnesty of the Niger Delta. And it is not the same, you know, killing thousands and thousands of people for religious purposes and demanding that Christians become Islams, Islams, and that the president should change his religion. These are two different things. But at the end of the day, this will boil down to what we've been saying, which is that we must have a sovereign national conference.
All right. From what you've seen, from the perspective of those who are asking or pushing that the federal government grant amnesty to this group, do you think they're in touch with the religious sect, Boko Haram?
Either they're in touch and they are lying to the world and to Nigerians, or they are not in touch. It's one or the other, you know, but the federal government is very clear that it does not know these people. The only visual we have seen is the person who is saying that he is now the leader after the unfortunate killing of their initial leader in the hands of the people that were holding him under circumstances that is yet to be explained. And the other members of Boko Haram that were shot, at least, unless if it was a photo trick, that we saw on Al Jazeera and so many other news houses across the world. Now, the thing is, we need to listen to what Boko Haram is saying. Boko Haram has made it very clear what their demands are. They want like 12 states in the north to be purely Islamic states. They've also gone further to say that they actually want an Islamic nation. They've gone further to say that Jonathan should become a Muslim. I mean, these are their clear, they've never spoken of poverty. It is politicians that are telling us that these people are complaining of poverty. They've never spoken of injustice from the Niger Delta or federal government against them. What they are saying is their leader was killed. They want justice for their leader. And I don't see anything wrong in those claims as long as I and my people are not forced to become Islam, and we maintain our Christianity, you know. So it is very, very clear what they want. It is people outside of Boko Haram that is claiming the extras for Boko Haram. And Boko Haram must be contacted, whether by the federal government, in any way Boko Haram wishes to interact. But we should know that innocent people were murdered and are being murdered on a daily basis. And I always make this appeal to Boko Haram when I get the opportunity, that you have a right to make your points known. You have a right to make your claims and even have them achieved. But please, not by killing innocent Nigerians, and also not by blowing up churches and all of that. You know, so the main threat, which is now, if you like, parallel to what Boko Haram is doing. Again, for me, I am not surprised, because I think that everybody gets to a point. So if MEND is using this as a jump-off bench line to come back into the scene, well, that is their choice. But I am not surprised, and I think Nigerians and people all over the world will not be surprised, because what we are saying with this offer of amnesty to Boko Haram is that the government is being advised that there is no other way out to this but to offer amnesty to Boko Haram. And it's up to Nigerians, and they've been doing so, to object to it, express their opinions about it. Because look, many people have been made orphans, many people have been widowed, many men are widowers, thousands of people are dead. Who is going to be responsible for them? Who is going to make up for these losses? Does the federal government even, or the state government, whose responsibility, and local government, whose responsibility it is, they're collecting our money every month, to secure their states and their local government. Now, whose responsibility is it that is going to look after these people? Does the government or the state government where these things occur, or the local government, do they know how many people have been killed and the losses apart from the lives that they have incurred, their businesses, their education, their houses, their homes? We don't even have a data. So what are we actually even giving amnesty for? If truly we're giving amnesty, what are we giving the amnesty for? We don't even have facts and figures.
You spoke about, the Niger Delta militants grinding the economy of the North to a halt, of Nigeria, that is, not the North now, but they have an argument that this group, this particular sect, is grinding the economy of the North. I mean, you have mentioned as much. How would you say, because aside the lives that have been lost, jobs are also being lost, unemployment is rife, there's cannon fodder for, as it were, Boko Haram to employ. People are saying it's because there's unemployment. How would you suggest that the federal government goes about bringing peace so that some life can return to the North?
The way the federal government should do it is to come out plainly and ask for the Boko Haram people to make themselves known. It shouldn't, amnesty is not going to be offered when that has not been achieved. Come out and state clearly what your issues are. And then federal government will be able to decide whether these are issues it can handle as federal government, or whether these are issues that will be handled collectively by the states or the region in where these atrocities are being committed. But there is no doubt in my mind that we must listen to Boko Haram. Right now, Boko Haram is saying one thing. They don't want Western education. They don't want all of the things I've mentioned previously. And there is another group, which is the politicians, telling us that it is poverty, it is lack of employment, it is this, it is that. Let Boko Haram add it to their list. Are these politicians saying that they are part of Boko Haram? Let's be very clear. Right now, Nigeria is at a stage where all of us collectively must begin to know that our voices must be heard, whether we're from southeast or northwest or whatever, so that we can move forward in this country. The government cannot provide amnesty, in my opinion, and many people have expressed that view, without knowing whom the people are. And in any case, the lives that have been lost, as I have said, who is responsible? But I don't believe, going by the Niger Delta process, but the Niger Delta issues also were very different issues. We were talking before independence of Nigeria about injustice in the Niger Delta. We were talking about environmental devastation. We were talking about lack of development, which still exists in the Niger Delta. So even with the amnesty itself can never resolve the issues of what we're talking about in Nigeria. Masop, the Igbo group, wants independence away from Nigeria. Niger Delta wants development. Boko Haram wants an Islamic state. So these are different. These are very different things for different people, and it cannot be handled the same way. We must handle them differently as they arise. But one thing must be clear to us as Nigerians, that is the killing of innocent people must stop. The development of Nigeria must start. And the listening to Nigerians must begin. Nigerians must have the opportunity to sit down the way you and I are listening to each other, and the nation is listening to us right now. That we must have the opportunity to speak our mind and make a decision where we want to go. I want development. I want to control my resources and pay tax to Nigeria. So Boko Haram wants Islamization. Biafra people want a different country. We can live together even with all of these crises facing us and obstacles as a nation. But we must agree. How then can we live together?
I like it that you just come up to a point to say that no two issues can actually have the same solution. Perhaps. Maybe that's why the Northern Elders are meeting with the President to see how they can actually solve the situation. Because if you say, well, with the Niger Delta issue, the youth and